Just a heads up before this video starts, said video may be age restricted or taken down due to copyright abuse or mass reporting, as the person we are going to talk about today has previously taken down similar videos about them and their misdeeds. So another VRChat video. Yes, I know you're all excited, as I'm jumping back into the degenerate anal glands that is VRChat. And yes, I know it's only been like a month since my last VRChat video, and my next video about VRChat was supposed to be very different. In fact, a totally different topic altogether, but I'll put that video on the shelf for a different time, because I actually had someone reach out to me who has been trying to let people know about a specific person who has been blatantly performing very disgusting and distressing actions on the VRChat platform.
When people can't get stuff on you, they will make stuff on you, and I'm guilty of doing that to a lot of people to get rid of them.
With seemingly no repercussions whatsoever. In fact, anyone who speaks out against them or opposes them seems to face more punishments than they do, including the victims. The person that reached out had made two 40-minute plus videos about said person, documenting their activities and bringing what they do to light, just hoping for something to be done about this. But the only thing that did happen was the video was taken down by YouTube due to apparent child endangerment, but even when they made another video basically removing anything that could resemble child endangerment, that video once again was removed in a short amount of time with the same reason, child endangerment, and the many victims and people that helped with that video faced repercussions and punishments against their VRChat accounts, some even getting temporarily banned as a result, all whilst the subject of that video faced no repercussions whatsoever, because they were the one mass reporting the YouTube videos and the people involved. There's even a video of them bragging and claiming responsibility for it.
And then they were like, this is why I constantly do cleanup. A stupid pedo-tuber started problems with me, so I took down his whole fucking Discord and took down the video. Now I'm going after his fucking channel and he's gonna get it. Some stupid FFL dickhead.
The YouTuber in question is FFI, whose usual content revolves around bringing to light the predators of the internet, most of them unfortunately being centered around VRChat. He and his friend Molly have been reaching out to many people, including the VRChat team and YouTube itself, to help resolve the issues they were facing, trying to get their video restored and the victims' accounts, but both efforts proved to be in vain, as VRChat moderation, as always, was about as useful as a butt plug made out of sandpaper, as they didn't do anything about it, even when 7 reports had been made with all the evidence and an entire Google Drive showing all the things they've done, and even when somebody in the creator program for VRChat got involved to show them personally what this person has done, still nothing. And YouTube was YouTube, I guess. Still better than the VRChat team though. But the videos in question was on the VRChat user Baby Cakes, or as he's alternatively known, QT Trash, who is a 32-year-old Australian man with multiple VRChat alt accounts and is the owner of the Toy Box group within VRChat, whose avatars are related to and inspired by FNAF, Poppy's Playtime, Digital Circus, and Has Been Hotel, which the reputation of the latter is unrecoverable at this point, but they are a part of these fandoms. Unfortunately, this person has allegedly had multiple explicit interactions with individuals he knew were minors, and even prompted and suggested such activities to them, with significant evidence and recordings to back up these claims, which we will get into later. But before we do, once again, be warned, this video does contain disgusting and possibly disturbing information and themes. And once again, this video will quite possibly be eventually removed by the person we're talking about. But FFI and his friend Molly got in contact with me because they wanted to make sure this information was publicly known. Although I'm probably going to be tanking a YouTube guideline strike or copyright strike due to mass reporting. And unfortunately my VRChat account may be banned as well, just from making this video. One of those things I really don't care about, and you'll be curing a past addiction at that point. But at least I'm going to be somewhat aiding humanity in warning you about this person. And simply the more you know, and another reason you can hate VRChat. But this video is about Baby Cakes, probably one of the worst alleged predators on a platform filled with children that does nothing about him.
Oh, how baby does baby get? I did say I was a bit of a degenerate.
So as mentioned, Baby Cakes is an Australian who is 32 years of age. We can assume he still lives with his mother, from the fact his mother even got involved at one point when a victim was telling him to leave her alone, as he was allegedly using her personal information to sign her up for things like the army, even though she was underage.
You've been harassing me for 10 months. Have you told your mom about that? Every fucking day that one of his victims brings their problems to me. I'm sorry, but me listening through 10 months of this shit, I really, as his mother, need you to listen to what your son is doing to people. Your son is causing people to have mental breakdowns. Be scared of him. He's threatening to do shit to them. He tried sending me to the damn military after he illegally obtained my living and my government information.
He brought his own mother to listen to the conversation and even talk to her, in which she just completely disregarded the girl's concerns, and even after being told everything her son was doing, including some very incriminating allegations, whilst he is laughing in the background when she is breaking down in tears over this, the mother just defends him, laughs, and even acts condescending towards the victim. And yes, his mother is somewhat aware of his activities online, and still does nothing about it.
Hello, kiddies!
Now hang on, I gotta unblock the bitch.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah, that one.
What?
Mummy, that's the one bullying me.
Oh!
Really? You're 30 years old and you think I'm bullying you? Really?
Is he? Well...
Because that's coming from the damn person he's threatening half the time.
Oh, threatening. Do you know what that word means?
To fucking literally recite that you are going to physically harm somebody?
Beg your pardon?
Anyway, and he's literally bringing you, his mother, into drama that he created when it never even involved him in the first place. I did nothing
Well,
to
guess
you,
what? It actually takes two. It actually takes two people.
Two to tango. I'm not new. And then your son's chasing me around the internet for 10 months straight, acting like he can actually do something.
Well,
to my
what? Well, guess what? I've got a solution. Why don't you just go away and that'll solve everybody's problems? Why do you keep entertaining in this bullshit? You obviously love the drama.
You think I'm entertaining it? You think I'm entertaining it? I had your son fucking blocked for more than half of the time.
It's okay. Look, that's lovely. That's wonderful. Well, to solve your solution, I think both of you should just not speak to each other ever again. I think that will solve all your problems.
Then tell him to shut his mouth. Has he also told you that there are fucking play places on VRChat for children and he's masturbating in them? He's 30. That is so un-okay. He's dated children before they were 18. He still does it.
Okay, hang on. Just
that's fucking disgusting.
okay. Just
I've dealt with you enough. I have heard your voice so many times.
the both of you do not communicate anymore.
You have no idea. You have no idea what you're.
Well, I do because I'm right next door. But anyway, okay. Well, you're very distressed.
You are stating the obvious. You're trying to mansplain me. You are mansplaining me so hard right now.
No, I'm not.
Now, Baby Cakes has been on the internet for quite some time, judging from the fact his still existing YouTube channel was made in 2007. The reason I say still existing is because he used to be a part of the Warhammer community. I know it's quite unfortunate the community was touched by someone worse than Nurgle, but what can you do? He was said to be uploading Warhammer-based videos under another alias, but he deleted said channel with the assumption he was chased out of the community due to his activities. It's unsure when he turned his attention towards VRChat, but his activities only started being documented recently in 2025 by Molly, FFI's friend, the person who got in contact with me. Even though it's unsure when he started playing the game, he was heavily involved in communities like Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's, Digital Circus, Has-Been Hotel, Murder Drones, and Poppy's Playtime, often joining groups and instances or worlds in VRChat associated with those fandoms. The problem with the communities he was most active in is the fact a lot of children are present in all of these communities. In fact, they're primarily children dominated. and with the allegation against him being a predator, it's rather a dangerous and worrying combination. Said combination would lead to rather disgusting and incriminating events, to say the least. First of all, from being active in these communities and from owning multiple groups like the Toy Box, which incorporated themes of these communities like a Five Nights at Freddy's event recently, and said group is supposedly safe for everyone, including those mentally ill, this would provide an opportunity for him to gather somewhat of a following, which he would use to attack other people, like mass reporting videos, discrediting those making accusations against him, and he would also use these groups to spread malicious rumours, especially about the people accusing him, like when he tried to spread a rumour about Molly saying they were in fact a predator by cloning their account and staging interactions with a minor. But Molly wouldn't really have to provide any evidence, as they admitted to it themselves when they were bragging about it, and he also seemed quite annoyed none of his minions were helping him to fake this entire situation and bury one of the main accusers.
Molly's just telling everyone that Modern hates me and that, and Wobblin's like, can he fucking not? I'm like, don't worry, I'll get rid of Molly. But as per usual, no one wants to help me, so I have to do it all myself. As per usual.
Okay, so he's admitting...
Also, too, Admin got mad because Admin dipped. He's like, you don't need, without me, you can't clone accounts. Me, okay. I fucking go to Google and I talk to two techies for like an hour. I now know how to clone accounts.
And two, being active in these communities and owning his own group, which once again advertises itself as being for the VRChat mentally ill and hosts events for these fandoms. It unfortunately gives him regular access to these victims. And believe me, there's a lot of victims. None of which I'm going to name, but Cake would regularly interact with said victims explicitly in public VRChat worlds. Yes, public VRChat worlds where it makes it extremely easy for people like Molly, the David Attenborough of documenting this predator, to gather clips of him courting and grooming minors. And some of the things he says to them are actually putrid. He actually seems to never show remorse or guilt for his actions. He's actually quite open about it.
But you realize that Lunary is a child.
That is where it gets really, really great, because I'm not going to throw her under the bus at all.
Even worse when he's actually confronted with the evidence. The evidence in this situation being a video recording of him in a VRChat world, speaking explicitly to a minor that he fully knows is a minor, where he goes into really disgusting detail about what he's going to do to them, which I will save your ears from hearing. But in this video he's being shown the recorded footage of him saying said things, and it becomes quickly apparent he cannot defend himself very well. His Fallout Charisma special stat must be pretty low, because he fails the persuasion check and goes from saying he doesn't have an explicit relationship with this person to fully admitting he does.
But you realize that Lunary is a child.
That is where it gets really, really great, because I'm not going to throw her under the bus at all. She's been through enough. I'll say absolutely nothing on what she has said to me. But a lot of it was other people pissing in my ear about other stuff. I talked to her about stuff. She gave me answers. That is why we are still talking, and we're not together, but that is why we are still talking, and, you know... I'm not going to use the word together, because I already know people are going to take that out of context. I am not with her in a relationship, but we still talk. I kissed her goodnight. I told her I cared about her, and she went to bed because she's been through a lot.
I keep mentioning that Lunary is a child. And... I guess I'm just not following with what you're telling me when I mention that.
You want to know why I made those comments towards Lunary?
I do.
Okay, what if I told you me and her kind of we had an emotional connection, and that is why she allowed me to make those comments towards her, and I always asked her if she was comfortable. What people fail to understand is all of it was consensual.
Now, if you thought what we already said about baby cakes was really bad, I'm about to say this channel's slogan, it gets much worse. Because he would openly admit to committing a Shane Dawson with his cat, which if you don't know the context behind that reference, it's where instead of using a non-sentient object to clean up one's spilled bodily fluids, they instead opted to use the family cat.
Yeah, no, I had my headset on so I couldn't see the fucking cat. The cat would have I fucking blew my load with Kelly and fucking all I hear is like, I'm like, oh. Yeah, no, so I'm chasing a cat around the house trying to fucking clean it, and there's this fucking cat just like with like a spooge stain on it, and I'm like, fucking come on, kitty, come home, please. And Pickle's just like, you better not be lying. Like, no, I didn't get sexually attracted to my cat. I just had a friendly fire incident because I blew my load after, like, I don't know, a day of not nutting.
I'm probably going to hit the cat again. I don't know. I've got a headset on. Usually I find out via the cat brushing up against me or the cat making the weird "you nutted on me" noise.
We need SEAL Team 6 to rescue those cats immediately. But his interactions with those underage and his crimes against the Geneva Convention don't stop just at VRChat. He owns his own Discord server under the same name as his VRChat group, where he advertises it as being safe for work, and there is no age verification. In fact, you can't even speak about your age at all, with the reason they don't want age wars starting. On top of the fact they also have people posting NSFW things in the server as well. So much for being safe for work. I mean, the server wouldn't be safe for work anyways, because his name at one point was Peter Pussy Eater, which is quite an inappropriate name to have in a safe for work server. But what else is inappropriate is how he was actually using the Discord server, as he was using it to interact with minors, where he would have dedicated channels just for them, and there's even some private DMs where he tries to coerce one of the minors into lying about their age to people he knows that are getting suspicious around him due to his own actions. He also interacted with another minor over Twitter, in which he sent My Little Pony NSFW art to them after previously confirming they were underage. But you now know who Baby Cakes is, somewhat his character, and the allegations made against him, of which he shows no remorse or guilt for his actions, and can't even successfully lie without 10 seconds later admitting to the truth. But even with this, Baby Cakes is still doing quite fine, and continues to come in contact with more victims, partially due to VRChat doing nothing, and his overall approach.
You did this to yourself. You went apart on the treaty. I was willing to put everything aside just to make things better, but you did this to yourself.
So with a reputation like Cakes and the many victims he has, you'd assume people on the platform would know to stay away from him, although information about him is currently being suppressed. You'd assume that the information that is publicly available was enough for further victims to stay away from him, and further reduce the pool of victims. Well, he tends to twist the narrative and manipulate his victims in a way where, with all the people sharing their information about him, he's in fact the victim. And everyone is spreading lies about him, and it's not his fault because, in his own words, he's mentally ill, due to events like his girlfriend breaking up with him, and she tried to frame him talking to minors, which he would use later as an excuse, as the screenshots of him talking to minors did reach the public. But overall, he promptly blames everything on his mental issues. It's also important to note before the video plays, Baby was in a poly relationship at one point, a relationship where you can have multiple partners, and some of the poly partners in that relationship were minors, on top of his original partner, who was of age, who apparently was aware of his activities, and there are speculations she assisted in grooming some of the victims before they would later break up, which apparently added to his depression.
Of me actually being a bad person, they just needed something to f me over with. This is what my ex did. When my girlfriend broke up with me on the first day of 2023, everything fell apart, and just, it was the worst. And then what ended up happening is I ended up wiping all my personal messages with her and that. She got really angry she couldn't cancel me. So she compelled a mentally ill child to sex with me and then blackmail me with the messages, and there's nothing I could do about it. You basically framed me for something I didn't fucking do. All I was flirty. I never actually did anything. I will admit it wasn't the best decision making, but my decision making towards you was I cared about you, and I wished to express things with you in private. I didn't want to groom you or fuck you over. I didn't want to hurt you. That is why I constantly asked you if you were okay. And then I asked you what you liked. Not to groom you, but to make you feel comfortable. Yeah, and you know what? The worst part of me is I am also living like this as well. So when you get older, the naivety doesn't go away. So all they did was just attack a mentally ill man on the internet that's struggling.
Now you may be thinking, damn, This sounds pretty stupid, blaming everything on your mental health issues and essentially saying people can't point out your atrocities due to said mental issues. It's pretty dumb. It's like saying you can't help being unemployed because you're addicted to War Thunder. That was the weekly War Thunder roast, thank you. I'll be seeing you in the comments, War Thunder fans. But him using this as an excuse most of the time actually works. Because even when FFI was gathering this information from the victims themselves, some of the victims, either due to his manipulation or harassment attempts, started to go back to him or withdraw their information they had given to FFI. In one case, he was trying to get one of his victims to actively change their narrative they had given by peer pressuring them.
I told her if she didn't delete the evidence folder on me, I was going to report her to CPS and tear her entire family apart. She's like, but you're just going to lie to them? Like, that's for the investigators to find out why you're in a foster home. So I threatened the shit out of her to delete the entire folder of recordings on me.
It got to the point where most people associated with Cakes were starting to come out with information about him, so he started to attack their Discord accounts and their Discord servers, going after the mods of these servers to get administrative access, basically destroying them from the inside. Even after destroying one server, he decided for some reason to supply a villain monologue to discourage further victims and people from coming out with information.
Sadly, Bon was not supposed to be caught in the crossfire. That was admin's fault, and I will be talking to him about that. But you did this to yourself. You went apart on the treaty. I was willing to put everything aside just to make things better, but you did this to yourself. And then you get what you sow. Sadly, this won't be you just getting banned. Things are gonna get a lot worse.
Are you ready? I'm gonna say it. No, not a slur. But it gets even more worse. Because upon hearing FFI was looking into him, probably after he took down his live stream, going over all the information, he would attempt to get in contact with FFI to try to persuade him not to make the video by giving him other people to throw under the bus and other people he can make videos on instead of him, basically sacrificing others so information about him doesn't get out. But they would also get into a call which FFI would record, but unfortunately FFI's mic wasn't picked up throughout the recording.
You ended up getting information from some crazy woman that stalks me. I wouldn't really use the word evidence. Did you even know I had a 40-year-old girlfriend? Yeah, like I said, I'm just a mentally ill man on the internet. No, it's not a good excuse. I know I need to work on my behavior, but if you haven't noticed, I literally just laid it all out there. I'm a mentally ill man on the internet that's not the best. I'm not a role model. I tell people they should look up to me as a father figure. I do babysit my friends' children. Yeah, I do blame myself for a lot of stupid shit that I do in my life. It's called living regrets. The main thing I wanted to make is I'm not a bloody predator. I'm just fucking retarded. Them blackmailing people, doxing people. One of them literally has a parole officer for fucking, like, whatever the fuck they did. Well, actually, I know what they did. They're getting investigated for doxing Tupper. Well, that's one of the things they did. Like, one of them literally has blackmails people with a child holder.
Since I have been the main person exposing Cakes, I've learned quite a bit on how this sick individual operates. I'm going to be specifically talking about the people on his payroll. Now, some of you are probably wondering how someone who spends every waking minute on VRChat, surrounded by people half his age and sometimes more, is able to pay people a decent amount of money for doing his dirty work. Well, that is thanks to all the beautiful, tax-paying Australians watching, as Cakes, being jobless and a literal walking insult, is able to live quite comfortably in his mom's basement by receiving checks from the government, all while being allegedly a registered flex offender. Now let's get into his closest associate, an American going by Admin87 on VRChat. Admin has been with Cakes for more than a year now, and is almost as bad as him, being responsible for doxing a decent amount of people, falsifying evidence, hacking, blackmailing, and really anything that you can think about, he's done it all. Admin is also the owner of some of the Poppy Playtime worlds as well, under the account Little Kinito. Don't let that bio fool you, as he is very much associated with the toy box. A much newer member of the team hails from the UK, Magma MC or Mod Job on VRChat. Gross. Anyways, like with admin, he has quite a few skeletons in his closet, having already been hardware banned multiple times with his worlds being taken down as well for violating VRChat terms of service. Magma is the current owner of the Murder Drones hub world under the account True0. By the way, it is dangerous to even join this world, especially if you're on Quest, as it will log your Quest/Facebook info, including IPs, so stay safe out there. A common thing you will notice amongst Cakes and his associates are the absurd amount of alt accounts they own on both VRChat and Discord. These are used for multiple reasons. For one, it makes it easy for them to conceal who they really are, at least from an outside perspective. And it's a way to protect their main account from facing any repercussions for their actions. I know it's pretty cliche, especially as a YouTuber, to say this blank is the worst blank ever. But from my own personal experience in documenting and reporting these sick individuals, Cakes is by far the worst I have ever encountered. He represents a lot of problems people have with VRChat and is a prime example of its failure to keep its younger audience safe, as no matter how many times we report him with the most blatant evidence, it continues to fall on deaf ears. VRChat as a platform needs to start taking these kinds of reports more seriously and in higher priority to others, as right now the system is completely backwards, protecting disgusting people like Cakes and taking action against innocent victims. YouTube and Discord are also responsible for Cakes having so much control over the narrative, but those are going to be much harder to reach than VRChat. It is not all doom and gloom though, as a shimmer of light has just occurred while I was recording this segment. The original Mega Drive, which contains all the evidence against Cakes in its entirety so that you can verify it for yourself, has been reinstated by Mega. In addition to all the evidence against Cakes, I will include both of my videos which have been taken down, so that you can get a nice, condensed version of it. Thank you to Royal for allowing me to speak on this platform. My name is FFI, and the job is certainly not over yet.
Now you may think the initial purpose of this video is Predator bad, and making sure this information that is actively being suppressed is out there, because I hate copyright abuse and any other abuse on YouTube, and overall this is to just spread awareness about this person. And yes, it probably did achieve that goal, and I can assure you something with this evidence is being done, at least from what I've been told, but it's not from the VRChat moderation team to say the least. But looking through this evidence and the person's overall conduct, all of which has been provided to VRChat multiple times, even by someone in the creator program, this video more shows how VRChat moderation is a joke. Once again, multiple reports about this person, and only the victims are getting banned on that platform. And even worse, the person that should get banned isn't, and even threatens his victims he will get them banned on that platform. And I know Molly's been trying to make VRChat aware of this, the fact that this person has been using the VRChat system against these victims, but nothing has been done. I mean, a more popular example is Tech Gangster. Admittedly, he does get banned quite often, but returns quite regularly, sometimes under the same username, and you can still find him in public worlds to this day, and he's quite open about his activities. If this is happening on a platform, it is their responsibility to deal with this, and it is their responsibility to ensure user safety. And what's confusing is it took an entire YouTube video to get age verification pushed onto the platform, and it's still behind a paywall now, by the way. And they also improved their report system as a result of public outcry. I know there's probably only so much VRChat can do, but at least expect these reports to be taken more seriously, especially with the amount of evidence provided to them, because community safety should be a priority. And obviously the report system has some flaws where some people can abuse it, and unfortunately can be used against victims to either threaten or completely remove them from the platform. At the end of this video, I have to say this as a disclaimer: I love VRChat. I have 3,000 hours in it, to my humiliation. It is my most played game, and the whole of VRChat isn't like this, I can tell you that. And yes, VRChat does get a poor reputation, and you're probably going to meet that expectation if you're going to a public black cat. It is not that bad. Only 10% of it is like a Guna hell. But the moderation and report system needs a bit of work. But that's all I had to say, and this video will probably be sent to the gulag. But thanks FFI and Molly for reaching out, and yeah, bye bye.